Yes, don't worry, buddy. Seriously, though. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one, the only, the Azothan, and we are back here with another episode of Lordaeron the Foremath. Thank you so much for joining us. Lordaeron the Foremath is a Warcraft 3 custom game set in the Warcraft 3 engine just before the events of the Third War. The game is slightly different from what you might expect in normal melee games, which is a small understatement if I'm being honest. Gold is gained by controlling these control points on the ground. Every single minute in income round, you will receive the amount of gold from your accumulated control point total. Now, lumber is harvested normally, and this can result in large portions of the map eventually being harvested out. Like I said, this game is set directly before the events of the Third War and allows 12 players to take control of the various groups and important factions during that time. So let's go ahead and check in on the various people that we're going to be interacting with. In the gold trunks, we have our Highborn player. Now, the Highborn are a heavily spellcaster-based race, very ranged-based in general. Most elven races are. He'll be being controlled by Panziok. Next up on the list, we have Muminkin. Muminek PL. He will be controlling the forces of the Lich King. The Lich King is responsible for taking over Northrend and eventually helping his ally, the Cult of the Damned, in Lordaeron in order to defeat the Alliance. Still on Team Evil, we have Kozikzek. Kozikzek in the teal trunks will be controlling the Burning Legion. The Burning Legion, of course, responsible for teleporting around, causing mayhem, destruction, confusion, and aiding his allies in the goal of corrupting Azeroth. Now, towards this goal, he has control of Archimonde. Archimonde the Defiler can gain spells that will allow him to not only scout the map, heal his allies, summon more units, and level up his allied heroes as well. Next up on the list, we have Murloc PL, the Alliance's caster-based race, sort of the polar opposite of the Shadow Council, if you will. Their job is to summon units, cast spells, do damage, and generally support their allied races as they continue on with a plethora of teleporting spells and abilities to get around. Dalaran is usually seen where the fighting is heaviest. Next up, we have Aegon in the yellow trunks controlling the dwarves. The dwarves are a sturdy race that start down south and in fact act as the first bastion against the Horde forces, much like it was in the Warcraft 2 days. One of the first big points of contention will be Dun-Algaz's station, and his enemy will of course be not spoken of for just a minute, but Kim Jun 123. Kim Jun 123 in the orange trunks controlling the Dark Horde. Kim Jun and the Shadow Council are all moving up north to try to take on somebody, the Draenei. Yes, the Draenei sort of have the polar opposite of Cult of the Damned. The Cult of the Damned and the Draenei both are responsible for holding as early game bastions and sort of giving other players time to get their feet under them and decide what upgrades / building strategies they're going to be going for. Next up, we have Berethger, an experienced Shadow Council player who I expect to aid a lot from this game. You know, if he stays very long. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. He is the Shadow Council. They're the polar opposite, as I said, of Dalaran, and their job is to teleport around the map, assisting their allies in whatever way they can, and summoning unbelievable hordes of units, whether it be skeletons or demons. It's important that he focus on his elite groups and supporting his allies. Nivian in the light green trunks has control of the Ranger Corps. Now the Ranger Corps, pure ranged damage. Archers, ballistas, Dragonhawk riders, whatever you can get that does damage from a range, that's what you want to stack it with. And a mass archer strategy is often very effective actually. I highly recommend it for new players. The Ranger Corps is a good starting race along with the Shadow Council, but mostly just because the Shadow Council's very mobile and easy in my opinion. Illidanos, or Illidanos, is going to be controlling the Cult of the Damned in the Grey Trunks. Now, Grey is, like I said, he's the first bastion against Northern Alliance. He's trying to corrupt things. He's trying to spread his little cult. He's like, hey, guess what? I know the king doesn't care about you. Maybe you should come join us. And all these Dalaran exiles and necromancers are like, well, fuck, it sounds like a good idea to me. So their first enemies will be defending against not only Lordaeron, Dalaran, High Elves, and the Ranger Corps, but potentially the Silverhand as well. Next on the list, we have Yusuf in light blue trunks. As I mentioned earlier, the Draenei are now heavily involved in combat. From here, this sounds perfect, doesn't it? It sounds like it's really great. It's a good time. know, but the sound effects are just right. But I bet it's too loud to hear me during certain things. So here we can see that the Draenei are being pushed back by the forces of the Horde. It was very excellently done by Green, something I missed, but he was using his Acolyte's second spell, Unstable Affliction, to silence Maru. Maru has huge amounts of range damage and can essentially wipe out an entire Horde army if you're not careful and you don't focus him down. Now, the Legion does have the ability to mana drain Maru, and like I said, Shadow Council can silence him. Looks like Yusuf is utilizing his mana-charged crystals, using their invulnerability globes, and now he's realized he's going to lose, so Vindicator Maraud uses one of his spells to teleport all surviving Draenei somewhere safe. This results in Maru being given to evil and corrupted by the Legion. Now, if the Legion takes over Maru, they will gain a number of units, buildings, and just kind of a small base, essentially. But I don't think that's going to happen because in this game, our Teal player is a little bit new. Let's cover our last two players and some of the bigger fights. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what's happening here and why it's not going to go well for Gray. Gray has decided to invest heavily in what I would say is a very effective melee strategy. Lots of abominations, tons of flesh golems. He's got his obsidian statues. The fact that I don't see catapults is a little bit confusing. Wheat wagons are amazing. But he's trying to go toe-to-toe with the Alliance in a way that is not beneficial to him. He cannot beat them going just pure muscle. What he needed to do was upgrade his casters, his necromancers, his damned mages, his Dalaran exiles, and get them all maxed out so they can cast their basically unlimited spellcasters. They're with Kel'Thuzad, they're able to regenerate their mana. You can drop Plague Cauldrons, Skeleton Archers, and Skeleton Warriors non-stop. Now, Kel'Thuzad got a little bit nervous and decided to bail out of Skullomance very early on. So this is an early win for not only the Alliance, but Evil as well. So Evil has decided to leave Maru behind, and hopefully, again, I think they're a little bit new, they'll be heading towards the Dark Portal down south. Now, it looks like Felixtrosity under heavy pressure early on by the Dwarves. The Dwarves have gone for a nice mix of units. I like it. He's focused on his siege engines. He's also got a few mortar teams, but it seems as though siege engines are his preference. And he's slowly moving in against Dragon Maw Port. Like I said, Yup is in the dark green trunks. He's the tank for the Northern Alliance. His army consists of Arthas Menethil, Lord Oathmar Garethos, and Prince Galen Trollbane, with elites that are immune to range damage if it's not hero damage. Now, Dragon Maw Enforcers go down immediately. I'm not sure why our Dragon Maw player decided to invest in heavy elite units and then just let them die. He's also sort of just given up his Dragon's Breath Cannon, one of the single best siege emplacements in the entire game, and if defended even with a small army, is very much capable of wreaking havoc. Let's just watch me that hits the damage it does, dude. It's half that siege engine's health. And it's splash. Oh. Ooh. Alright, come on, Dragon's Breath. One more. Let's see the damage it does. You see why I suggest even defending with a small force here at Dragon Maw? However, our brown player has decided to leave. He's hopped into a boat and he's running away. I think he might have already managed to get down south. No, come on. Where are you there, Felixtrosity? Morgor is sitting over here on his little island and he's just gonna hang out. He's fine. He's not gonna make an issue of it. That's okay. Now, let's go check in on Northrend.
Our town is under attack.
Also, sorry guys, I'm gonna set my microphone here for a second so that we can get things just a little bit more proper. There we go, there we go. Okay, there we are. Stop it. Come on, microphone, I know you're better than that. I know you're better than that. There we go. Okay, microphone, as long as you stay there, I guess we're okay. I don't have to worry about anything else. You son of a... Alright, so this leaves us in a position of... meh. And with that, the fall of Dragon Maw Port. Dragon's Breath Cannon has been taken out, and it looks like a Juggernaut and some basic naval units are just gonna just slide on by, try to pretend like this isn't happening.
Ignore us, it's fine, it's totally, we're just gonna leave. Don't worry about it, bro. Bro.
Alright, the Dark Horde has streamed out of Outland, and they're taking over Kargath now. This will give them a small base, but I'd like to point out that we have a very aggressive Silverhand player here. We're also about to watch the failing of so much stuff. There's going to be just absolute destruction of the amount of players in this game. And just prepare yourselves for that. We're about to lose 4 out of our 12 players, and that's okay. If I'm being completely honest, I shoutcasted a third of this and realized that the volume levels were completely inappropriate. I couldn't hear myself at all over the sound effects of the game, and I felt really, really dumb. Now, our Silverhand player has decided to go for a full group of paladins. This means he has a very strong force of hero armored units on the front line, including his base heroes. The Hawks offer magic damage with a slight bit of AoE, and his regular knights are just decent tanks. Behind this, we see militia archers upgraded so that they have extra damage to their attack, sort of a holy fire bonus, and Silverhand clerics. I expected more Silverhand clerics, but Silverhand clerics fully upgraded do have the chain heal ability along with inner fire and a regular heal. Seems like an alliance game says yup, it could be possible. Alright, we're about to see the actual engagement here. Now I want to point out something that I missed last game. Sure, we have Lordaeron about to join Silverhand Paladins down, heading through Twilight's Twilight Highlands. But the dwarves' movements are what I want to talk about now. Sure, they could have moved down with Lordaeron and done something like just joined in and helped their allies, but they're not going to do that. You know why? Because they're just a little bit too smart for that. Niven, oh no, do not lose your core ballistas to the front line. Got a lot of health and a lot of damage on them. They're very good units. But, I'm surprised, even 1200 health will disappear pretty quickly. You just leave that stuff sitting around for too long. Now, I think we're about to see... Oh, what I've been waiting for, baby. Now, the advantages that this demonic team have is AoE damage on the nether dragons in the form of magic. Blackrock champions are shockingly good at defending, and they have a number of benefits right now. For example, resistant aura, siege aura, and war chief aura are all resulting in them having close to 15 armor, 14.5 armor on the melee units. So that slight 100 health difference doesn't really matter when you have 10 more armor. Knight's reduction comes out to about 23%, and the Blackrock champions are sitting at 36 right now, even having lost one of their previous auras. So that 100 health is easily being made up for. Now here comes the first big fight, guys. Paladins on the front line soaking up a ton of damage. Uther the Lightbringer being very brave. Hawks need to focus the backline units, and a little bit too early on Vorpil's invulnerability globe from his Caribou item. See, Terran Gorfiend activating his healing aura in the back, and both of these spells by Green activated in places where they're not actually helping the units that are taking the damage. Both of the heroes need to be moved up a little bit closer. So, I mean, what's the point of healing backline casters that aren't even being targeted right now? Unfortunately, he's not managing to heal the frontline Blackrock champions that need it. And that being said, though, they do still hit harder than the Alliance in general, and their Demolishers are doing a wonderful job focusing down core ballistas, targeting down things like that arcane shield generator that was being built. Good job on that one, by the way, Evil. That would have turned the fight pretty ugly. Now it looks like the Horde's managing to win this one, aren't they? They might actually take this victory, if only the dwarves didn't exist, though. And the problem here is that Dark Horde and Shadow Council do not help the help of the Burning Legion right now. Burning Legion is just kind of sitting around in Northrend, doing not a whole lot, trying to figure out why they're attacking people. Like, he's actively attacking the buildings and units of things he shouldn't be. They're still allied to the undead, yet Teal has Mal'Ganis running around up north attacking his allies. Hychondrius is sitting in the Twisting Nether, having never helped them attack the Draenei. This is a huge deficiency for them to have a Teal that doesn't know what he's doing. This means less levels, less support, fewer auras, and you can see it's really not paying off for them right now. Shadow Council getting crushed on the left side. I cannot state this strongly enough. What the dwarves just did was between a rock and a hard place sort of situation. They crushed two of the biggest armies they had, and it looks like Kim Jun and a few other people are going to be a little bit upset at the outcomes of this. We can see that the Lich King has decided to launch a bid on Lordaeron. Let's see how that goes. I don't trust it. Do you? He's managed to slip through the Alliance naval blockade, land his units up north, and now we're in trouble. Yusuf and Yup Yup are trying to convince people to stay, but I'm thinking Yup Yup's also going to be given up here soon. Shadow Council and Dark Horde calling it a day. So, unfortunately, Evil's just lost 2 of their strongest fighters. And at least for the undead, it would be a very good idea for them to go ahead and just start the betrayal, gain the advantages of severing their connection to Sargeras, and do their best here. Now the undead start attacking. Now, sorry, I know we're kind of like fast-forwarding through a lot of this because I'm like, I will point out that the undead did a very good job. They creeped most of Northrend, that they've used all of that gold to upgrade their units, leaving him only about 418 gold to reinforce this fight here. He does, however, enter the fight with far higher upgrades than anyone else. Luckily, Murloc doesn't need upgrades to go ahead and make this difficult for them. All he needs is his infinite summons, heals, slows, spells, and several other things that the Dalaran mages are good at. Perhaps not direct confrontation, but it will slow them down long enough for the Silver Hand to arrive with a strong force of units. And here's how cool Yusuf is. I want to point out that the uniqueness of Lordaeron the Foremath is in its events. Yes, it starts out as a 6v6, but it does not stay that way for long. The minute the Ranger Corps loses Sylvanas to an evil team, they turn into the Forsaken. If the Dwarves lose Magnai, they go through a series of events that can lead them to becoming the Dark Iron. Dragonmaw clan can become one with the Old Gods, become the Twilight's Hammer clan. The Lich King can even become New Rubians in the late game. All these events will unally them or alter their alliances, and one of those is about to happen in the form of Uther the Lightbringer's death. With Uther the Lightbringer finally dying, that's right, the Silverhand Paladins will lose faith. One of their greatest champions has been destroyed, and they see the Lordaeron forces themselves being destroyed. Come on, Anubrak, hit that big batch of units with a nice, spike. Perfect. And 2/2 art upgrades from Yup Yup, still not enough to counter this. Hydromancers with Fingers of Frost, Blink, and Water Elemental. I don't know why I don't use Hydromancers. I feel like that's got a feeling like Stalkers from StarCraft 2, doesn't it? So that Blink micro could be really good, especially with the ability to summon and then blink away again, and send those summons across bodies of water. Remember that it's always important to think about things from that point of view. Dalaran is doing their best to try to help, and it looks like the High Elves are here as well. The High Elves and Dalaran are trying to help King Arthas not get caught by the undead right now. But Dark Green, he's now the focus of the undead's ire once again. My life for the undead's ire. I mean, Nazul. Oh no. Arthas, get in the boats. Retreat! Retreat! I don't know if he's gonna retreat. At least not before he loses all of his boats. Yusuf saying the game was over anyway. Not yet. That's what I was telling you, is that Lordaeron the Foremath's event-based system really makes it so that even if it seems like that 6v6 fight has gone one way and you're over that part of the competitiveness, go ahead and make it competitive again. Do something silly. Unallied. Pick an event that no one else would pick. Be ridiculous. And Anasterian Sunstrider has offered himself up to the undead to die. With Anasterian Sunstrider, King of the Elves, dying, the Elves will also begin to lose faith. The Scarlet Crusade has formed, and now so will the Bibbidi Blood Elves. Come on, right about here, right? I'm just waiting for you. Come on. I believe in you. Dribbly Dog is power. He's very proud of you. Just want to make sure I'm in the right spot. Yes, the undead are still putting some pressure on Lordaeron. Yes, down south we're going to see... nothing, actually. We missed the dwarves going down south and destroying everything. Blackrock Fortress is gone, a Dark Horde left long ago, and I think they kind of had to see that one coming. Dragonmaw clan has decided to try to reassert their dominance inside Draenor, activating their event to allow Gruul the Dragon Killer to be born. And there it is. The Blood Elves have been born. Or they have been formed by the disenfranchised former High Elves. This changes a number of their abilities. The sorceresses gain different spells, and so do the priests. They gain access to spellbreakers that are immune to magic, and a few extra heroes, Kael'thas Sunstrider being the most important one. Back up north, it looks like Lordaeron is still slightly under pressure, but the Cult of the Damned and the Lich King are... oh no. Oh, poor Yup Yup. He just wants to land his boat somewhere, but I think he's about to get locked down. Oh no. Yep, no. Come on, buddy, I believe in you. You just gotta run away. Uh-oh, Naxxramas, a number... okay, that's bad. Prince went down, Arthas went down, Garithos went down. Everyone just died. Sapphiron and his cadre of frostworms. And yep, leaves the game. Alright, that means Lordaeron is out of the game, Dark Horde is out of the game, Shadow Council is out of the game, and who else? Oh, by the way, Blood Elves decided that screw it, right? The Alliance is falling apart. Why don't we go ahead and throw our lot in with the Undead? Screw it! And a number of their units have spawned inside Lordaeron's base. The betrayal is official. And right after wiping out the Plague Cauldron, too, you think they were... Oh, no, he didn't kill it. He didn't quite kill it, but he does find himself now in conflict with our Dwarven player. Not Dwarven, Dalaran. He finds himself in conflict with our Dalaran player. And this doesn't look good. Even Dalaran's forces are being hard-pressed now. A combination of the Wretched, the Undead, and the Cult of the Damned right at the gates of Lordaeron. This doesn't look good. Antonidas is doing his best. But they're going to have to teleport out. Does he have his Kirin Tor elites? No, he doesn't. He should, but he doesn't. Purple. Murloc has built 2 Arcane Shield generators deep in the base to slow down the inevitable attack on the palace itself. But he's not even closing the gate. He's not really even assaulting them while they're focused on the gate. There we go. That's what I was hoping to say. Tears Fall agents all activating their teleport spells, getting the army out of there. Whew. And now here comes a little bit of a problem, because while I haven't been paying attention to anything, the Scarlet goddamn Crusade has decided to attack Quell the Lost.
You elves have been a thorn in our side for far too long. Sadian Dathrohan and Renault Mowbray will lead us on a conquest, natural resources, and elven bitches.
Sorry.
That voice is very taxing on the throat, could you guess?
Sylvanas Windrunner in the back, trying to do her best, but I don't think... Oh, look at this dick move. Darkondrathyr. Oh, forever vanquished. Poor High Elves were not paying attention. That is one of their early game heroes, Keliseth, Taldram, and Darkondrathyr. And in the north, the Dwarves have decided to launch the Explorers League. This gives Murd and Bronzebeard and a small group of units the ability to head into Ajol-Nerub. They'll be looking to go into the old underground tunnels of Ajol-Nerub, teleporting themselves into the underground and finding... That's right, Bronzebeard. Bronzebeard will gain whatever level Muradin is when he's discovered, and Muradin is, of course, I believe, whatever level Falstad Wildhammer is when you activate the event. So it's probably not a good idea to activate it too early on, or else you end up with some very low heroes all fighting for experience, whereas if you only have 2 heroes, the experience is split between them, and then eventually you grab your other 2 at already given higher levels. Looks like Yusuf is going to keep hurting Quell the Lost. That's cool, dude. You just be a dick. I believe in you. The Undead, on the other hand, realize, well, I guess the Scarlet Crusade exists, so we should probably go check that the hell out. The Scarlet Onslaught has been launched, offering the Scarlet Onslaught base in Northrend and a position from which the Scarlet Crusade can attack Northrend and the Undead in general, leading into either Sholzar Basin or, weirdly enough, directly to the throne. Now, the throne's not too easy to kill off. You do have to take out the Ice Crown obelisks before killing the Frozen Throne itself. Remember, not impossible. Not impossible at all. Yusuf, realizing that he's in a spot of trouble, creates a number of peasants and starts building a line of cannon towers to defend himself in this next fight. Alright, 3-4 upgrades from Yusuf as well. Attack, defense, Bronzebeard has been gained in Northrend, and the secrets of Ulduar have been gained by the Bronzebeard brothers. Once Bronn is discovered, you go to this small arena here in Ajol-Nerub, and Brundir, the Stormcaller, will spawn and drop this item. Once the item is used, you can then create special units for the dwarves, such as the Earthen, and gain additional spells. The Earthen are kind of just like mountain giants. They're amazingly tanky, old boys, big boys. And I hope the dwarves actually get to show off how good they are later on. Now, you will maybe have noticed that a few color changes have occurred. Our friend Felix Frosty is no longer officially brown. He is purple. That's because he's decided to swear his loyalty to the old gods, gaining Cho'Gall and a small base in the Twilight Highlands. Twilight Citadel is now his. and his next move will be to try to sneak into Northrend and resurrect the old god Cthulhu. Now, the undead are pretty cocky after their first big fight against Capital City, kicked the crap out of it, and now they are running away. They have no taste for battle here. Alright, this is going to be a very, very short shoutcast for the first part, and I hope it all went well. Thank you guys. This has been the one, the only, the Azothan, and Lordaeron appears to be preparing to attack the undead as well. However, Scarlet Crusade is no longer allied to any of his former allies. He gains a great deal of power and some very weird effects, I might add. Before we go ahead and log this off, I'll point out it gains them steam tanks, which they already had, but it changes their priest to Scarlet Priest. Zealous Rage is like Bloodlust, Dispel Magic is obvious, and Exalt is your heal. This heal requires the sacrifice of the priest unit itself. He will exalt and blow up in a big burst of healing energy that will heal everything around him. So essentially they're kamikaze healers. And I feel that fits this Scarlet Crusade quite well. Crimson Knights will also die and then come back to life on a cooldown timer, so it can feel like you're just really not making progress against the Scarlet Crusade. If they're well upgraded and the player knows what he's doing, it's a very durable and damaging army. Alright guys, this has been part 1. The undead ravages the land unchecked. The Wretched, the Cult of the Damned, and the Lich King all on one team. Twilight's Hammer Clan have abandoned their demonic allies, deciding to go ahead and swear their lives to the old gods. What I worry about is the possibility of the dwarves doing the same. It doesn't appear like that's what they're going to do, but you do see several items being dropped by our yellow player, and this is an indication to me that when he loses these heroes, he doesn't want to lose the items. Or he's trading them around. I don't know, but we could see a very weird old god team in the form of Dark Iron Dwarves and the old gods. Teal probably screwed on his own. I don't know what he's doing. He's gonna sit in the Twisting Nether with all of his money in the world and never do anything. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the one, the only, the Azothan, Lordaeron the Foremath. Check out the download in the description, and I will see you next time. Bye!